Hello everyone, and welcome to my mostly comprehensive guide to Artbyte, the only fight on the internet that's worth your time. Artbyte is the annual online competition between artists that takes place every July. And I hear you saying, wait, July? Alex, July is almost over, and I know this video is really late, but I do actually have an explanation for why it is so late and why I'm even making it at this point. First and foremost, I was super busy for the first week and a half of July, and then I got sick. That's right, I couldn't move for like a week. You can probably still hear it in my voice, and I do apologize that I'm so nasally, but listen, I had to make this video. Why? Because it's dedicated to someone. That's right, this video is dedicated to Dorito the Axolotl. Hi, Keys. Dorito the Axolotl is a very talented artist. I will link her channel in the description. This video is going to be going over how to submit characters, attacks, defenses/revenges, as well as some other general tips when it comes to the website. So without further ado, let's get into this video. I hope this is helpful to some people. If it's not, please don't be mean to me in the comments or I will cry. Obviously, a 2-second summarization isn't going to be a very good explanation for what Artbyte is, so let's take a second to establish what this whole thing is about. Artbyte is an annual online competition that takes place every July, as I said. It is a website, not an app, so make sure that you're not searching around in the App Store for something that doesn't exist. The way the fight works is that artists are randomly sorted into one of two teams. This year, which is 2023, the teams are vampires versus werewolves. I'm a werewolf, if you're curious. Artists earn points by drawing other people's characters. This is called an attack. A defense, or revenge, is just you drawing another person's character, either on your own, which on their profile would be listed as a defense, or in retaliation to someone drawing your OC. In that case, it would be a revenge. The point system is insanely easy to comprehend. Essentially, the more effort you put into a drawing, the more points you get. Some factors include how much of the character is involved in the drawing, aka like, is it a headshot, is it a bust, is it a full body, how much lines, colors, and details are put into like the overall piece, if there's a background, and also how many characters there are. I've put some of my attacks on screen so that you guys can see how many points you should usually earn for something of that caliber. Even though my smaller drawings are still pretty high detailed, they're not going to be as much as something like the one that earned 156 points, or 154. Because obviously, that has more characters and way more detail. Also, a quick fact about the teams. Though you are sorted randomly, you have to press the button on the homepage that says Get My Team. Even if you've already had an account and have been sorted into a team before, you need to press this button in order to actually take part in the fight. Alright, so that's pretty much it for all the basics of Artbyte. Next up, we're going to be going into how to submit characters and attacks, as well as other things. I don't have a script, I don't know how to read. Alright, so you've made an account and got sorted into a team. What's the first thing you gotta do? Make a character, of course. Even if you attack other people, they're not gonna have anything to use to get a revenge on you if you don't have any characters uploaded. So let's talk about that. First things first, make a ref sheet. Come on. I know making a ref sheet isn't pleasant, but it is the best way for other artists to get the entirety of the design across. Seriously. If you have a picture that shows the entire design of a character, that's fine, but please, make a ref sheet. I'm putting some of mine on screen right now so that you can see some examples, and they don't all have to look like this. My ref sheets tend to have more writing and less drawing. This is because I value the written words more than the character design itself, because I'm not very good at translating their personalities through my design. We're gonna get back to that specific point, so put a pin in that, but in general, I prefer to have more words on my ref sheet because I find it to be really important. But you don't have to have your ref sheet have a bunch of words. It's totally fine if it's just the character design and a few artist notes saying, hey, this is what this looks like, this is what that looks like. It's totally fine. There's no wrong way to make a ref sheet. Just make sure that it's not shaded and that you can fully see the design of the character. Now that the artists that haven't been making ref sheets for their characters have been properly called out, let's go on to actually uploading the character. To submit a character, just press the little submit button up at the top of the site and press the character selection. There's really only 2 options here, so you can't mess this up. You'll then be presented with a whole lot of stuff you gotta fill out, and I have a feeling this is where some people may get intimidated and feel that they're not cut out for it, even though it's super easy. Yeah, a wall of text with no pictures can be a bit scary. In the wise words of Gaston, how can you read this? It doesn't have any pictures. But I promise you, it's not as scary as it looks. Let's go through this one by one and fill out everything together. Now, because all the stuff you have to fill out to submit a character is too big to capture in one screenshot, I'm going to be going down each one as 2 columns, starting with the basic information and then going over to the credits. First up is the name. Simple enough, but I do want to give this one little piece of advice. Not all of your characters are going to be from the same universe, so a really easy way to differentiate what world they're from is to put a little symbol next to their name. Next up is the description, which is actually really important. You may be wondering, there's a lot of stuff I could say for my character. What's the most important stuff I should put? And there's not really a wrong answer, but there is a bare minimum, at least in my opinion, as to what you should include. You don't have to go all lore heavy with your OCs, but what you should have is a brief description of them as a person, mostly what their personality is like. I said earlier that I have a hard time translating people's personalities into my character designs, and descriptions are extremely helpful so that I can convey that, because the personality heavily affects what pose a character will be drawn in. Even if not the pose, it can affect the expression on their face. Next up is permissions. There are 2 types of permissions, character-specific permissions and global permissions. They're exactly what they sound like. Permissions are just what people are and aren't allowed to do with your characters. Global permissions will show up under every character, while character specifics will only show up under one specific character. Character specific ones are more just if you allow more general or darker themes with most of your characters, but not 1 or 2 specific characters, you can clarify in their character specific permissions that you don't want certain things being done with them. Or vice versa, maybe you are okay with some darker stuff being done with some characters, but not most of them. If you're on the younger side and don't know what permissions to put, here's what I say you should put in yours. No not safe for work, no gore, and no fetish/kink art. The external links don't matter very much, so I'm not going to be going over them. Character filters are essentially just, hey, is your character safe for general audiences, or is there, some unsavory stuff? This includes heavy or light not safe for work, heavy or light gore, eye strain, etc., etc. If you don't want to see something, you can go into your settings and adjust your filters. The credits are pretty self-explanatory. Did you draw this character? If yes, go right ahead. If you didn't, it just asks for a link to the artist. Below that is the option to link a species sheet. This, other than being extremely hard to say, is not something most people will use. It's solely for if your OC is a species that you have created. The species might have specific rules or design elements that you may want to get across. Finally, we get to uploading the image. Your main image is the image that you want to upload, and the thumbnail image is something that people will see, but it's not mandatory. You'll just be able to see the main image if you don't upload a thumbnail image. I didn't have them for a while, but I did add them just for this video. The rest of it is just asking, hey, did you make this main image? If not, you have to give credit, and if there's any filters that this image should have, not the character. The only other thing is tags, but these are relatively new and not a lot of people use them. The only real use is for when you're searching for things. You can go to the browse, hit tags, and look up something specific, like anthro or human, whatever. Anyways, that's everything you need to know about submitting a character. Let's move on to attacking other players. What is Artfight without the fight? Submitting an attack is actually very similar to submitting a character, so I'm not going to be going over everything word for word again. There are some notable changes, but some minor ones include the name being changed to the title and the permissions being changed to a private description. Both of the descriptions are just used to send little notes to the artist at this point, so don't worry too much about this. You will also need to fill out the recipient's username, which you can just type in, and whatever characters you have in the attack. You can add characters by pressing the Add Character button, and the way you submit a character is by getting their character ID. How do you get the character ID? Simply go to the character page and press the little clipboard button by their name. This will copy their character ID, which you can then insert. For select a size, it's a drop-down box, and you just choose how much of the character is featured. Also, while we're here, to get a revenge, all you have to do is press Find Revengeable Attacks, and press the title of the attack that you want to revenge. It's very simple. The rating is not something we've seen before, so let's go through this, but it's pretty simple. Each section here is just a drop-down box that asks for the details of the drawings. For example, the type is either drawing, 3D, or craft. A craft is a real-life thing, not anything online. The finish level is either the rough sketch or a clean sketch or lineless. The color is either uncolored, rough color, or clean color / painted. The shading is unshaded, minimal shaded, and fully shaded, and the background is either no background or photo background, pattern / abstract, props / scene, or a full-on scene. Though I assume you already know what the polish and animated are at the bottom of the screen because it spells it out for you. Polish is just if you spend extra time, and animated is if it's animated. To cap off this section, we're going to find out how to find characters to draw. If you go on the home page and scroll a little bit, you'll immediately see some recent attacks and recent characters. But obviously, this isn't a very reliable way to find characters and artists that you like, so the best way to go is by the Browse button. This is at the very top of your screen in between the Shop and Submit button. You can browse for members, attacks, characters, and also get a random character, a random user, or search through tags. Members, attacks, and characters are just the most recently added ones, while random characters and random users are just people who chosen at random. It is worth saying that users and characters can be from either team or people who are not participating at all. I learned this the hard way because I didn't realize you could get inactive users. The other way is by using a tag search, but since this is so new, as of the time of recording this, not many people have been using this. However, if you are looking for something specific, it is always worth going to the tags and looking it up, because hell, maybe it'll find something easier for you. And that just about wraps up my mostly comprehensive guide to Artfight, the only fight on the internet that's worth your time. My account is on screen if you want to come attack me. I absolutely adore doing revenges, so I will draw your characters unless I run out of time. And remember, it's all just for fun. Don't force yourself to do this if you feel like you're going to get burnt out, not have enough time, or won't enjoy it. It is entirely for your enjoyment. Don't push yourself to do this if you don't want. With all that being said, I'm going to cut it here. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.